Yeah, hello, hello. We're back here at Subconsciously Speaking, and I'm happy you're listening. Welcome, welcome. Today, we are talking about burnout. And I don't want to talk about it in the way that you've heard a million times before, and that's super dull and boring. Actually, let's uncover what it is and let's see. Okay, I'm just gonna start and then let me know if this is something that's enlightened you or that you already knew. Because why I want to discuss it, I have so many clients in my practice that come to me for hypnotherapy to stop overthinking and to just let go of that thought machine that doesn't want to stop at all, that drives them crazy. And what I notice is that burnout by these clients, but also in the outside world, is often framed as something that happens to the weak, to weak people, people who couldn't handle the pressure, who just didn't manage their stress well enough. They just didn't couldn't keep up, and that feels just kind of dismissive. It's like, oh, it's for those people, Oh no, she got burned out. So what I actually want to say is that, and I'm laughing. It's not funny at all, but I'm laughing because it's just so far off. The story is just completely wrong, and it's also very unhelpful because we completely miss the point when we look at burnout in this way. That is just for the weak. And what I want to emphasize is what actually could be the treasure in having a burnout, and also, of course, how to prevent it. Because actually, what I see we tend to do is to say, okay, but you burned out, and now it's just a matter of resting, take away the triggers and make sure that you're basically recovering from that, right? And that's not the full story. You do indeed need rest, but we miss what our body is actually trying to tell us. And that's so important because the people that I speak to that are on the verge of burnout or have burned out before, they are not weak at all. Actually, they are the opposite. They are the responsible ones. They are the ones who care so deeply. They are the ones who take things seriously, the ones you can count on. These are women that show up. They try harder. They read the books. They take the courses. They try to optimize everything. And still, their body tries to send them these signals. And then they start to feel tired. They notice that their mind just keeps racing, keeps racing. It keeps going. And they feel tired. They want to rest, but somehow they just can't. They just feel, tired but wired. And then the smaller things start to get overwhelming. They feel huge, right? Your focus starts to disappear. And yeah, you start thinking to yourself, what the hell's wrong with me? What if you're doing it wrong? What if you're the only one suffering from this? All those terrible questions, they pop up. But actually, what if nothing is wrong with you? What if nothing is wrong with you? What if burnout actually is not the problem? It's just a signal. And of course, I'm not saying that burnout isn't heavy. Of course, it's a problem in your life when you're on the verge of having it or you're in it. But what if we consider it not the massive problem, but we consider it the signal? A signal that is something in your life. It could be the pace that you're keeping up with, your boundaries, your thinking patterns. It could be your environment. And what if this signal from your body is just saying that this is no longer sustainable for you? You should make a change here. And it doesn't mean that your body is malfunctioning, which is often what we say is like, oh, but my body just needs to recover. My body just needs to get better. And I just need to, like you have to fix something. But actually, what your body is doing, it's communicating with you. And what is really tragic in this society, I think, is that we don't listen to these signals. We just try to fix and we try to silence and push and, just fix it. So if we look at how burnout is usually treated, the conversation is often, how do we fix this as fast as possible? How do we get back to normal? How do we get back to work? what do we do to remove these terrible symptoms, right? We rest, maybe take some supplements, try some yoga, maybe take a break, go on vacation. And then hopefully we can return to exactly the same life that created this issue. And this is kind of like the smoke alarm going off in your house. And instead of checking where the fire is, you just remove the batteries from the alarm. And oh, yes, the sound has stopped, right? But the fire is still there. So this is why it's so important to discuss this. Because yes, of course, the symptoms are uncomfortable and we don't want to feel that way. And you want to solve it as soon as possible. Completely understandable, right? The things that can happen, I mean, they're terrible. Fatigue, for example. There is brain fog, feeling anxious. Your thoughts start racing and they don't stop. The overthinking that happens, the incredible emotional sensitivity that you can feel, not being able to participate in normal daily life, normal things like, running errands, going to the supermarket, going for meetings, things that before you thought were just so fun to do, you feel numb about them now and feeling emotionally fragile. That is really tough. And I don't want to, underestimate the effect of those things in your life. What I do want to say is that these are symptoms that carry information. And it's your nervous system that's saying, this is just not sustainable anymore. We need to make a change here. This pace is not sustainable. This way of living is too much. The expectations that you carry are not realistic. The pressure that you put yourself under is not safe. And maybe some of these resonate, maybe none of them resonate, but this is something that is oftentimes where it comes from. So if you immediately try to eliminate the symptoms so that you can push through and move on and, then you're missing out on this whole lot of intelligence that is behind them. So the interesting part, I think, is that people who experience burnout, especially women, they're often the ones who have been strong for so long, right? They carried responsibility early in life. They're used to perform. They want to perform. They have goals. They have ambition. And they want to push through because they want to move forward. And they learn that being successful and useful, reliable and productive is how you earn safety and how you earn approval. So they just keep going for that. Makes sense, right? And this is long after their system has been whispering to them, please slow down. Please take a break. Excuse me. We're tired. We're annoyed. Please take a break. So this whispering, if you ignore it, the signals that your body will send are going to be stronger than that. So the whisper is going to become a strong voice, right? To stop. And if you don't listen to that and you just push through a little bit more, it's going to turn into screaming at one point. Where if you keep ignoring it, your body at one point is thinking, what do I do? What else can I do? I tried to warn her. Not once, not twice, not thrice. I've done it so many times, but she doesn't listen. What I'm going to do, I'm going to shut down. I'm going to shut down completely. So there's no other option for her than to listen to me. Right? So your nervous system doesn't really care how disciplined you are, how ambitious you are, how whatever you wish and what you feel is important in your life. It only cares about your safety. That's the only thing it cares about. So when this safety feels fragile or maybe not even present at all for too long, your system starts to whisper, speak, yell. And this is what you're noticing in that, for example, your energy drops, your motivation just disappears over time. You can't really focus that well. And these are just annoying things, right? Let's be honest. These are just freaking annoying. It's like, why doesn't it work? And you just, you want to push through and go, right? So these are the whispers that I spoke about. And we're so taught to hold on, hang in, go and move forward, push through. But actually, the fact that your system is showing you this, that doesn't mean that you're failing or doing something wrong. It just means that your system is trying to protect you. It's trying to protect you from the unsafety that you're, approaching or are in. So the biggest mistake we make at this point is we treat it like an obstacle, right? Something that is just in a way of our plans. We just need to overcome it. But what if this information is actually just feedback to your system? It's your system saying the way you're living and pushing right now is not aligned and it's not going to get you further. It may have gotten you to this point, but we need to stop it now. We need to make a change. And if you listen to that message, the burnout can actually get incredibly informative, super interesting. And of course, I wish for you that you tackle it before it turns into a burnout, because there are symptoms. So when your body starts to whisper, please listen, right? Because I guess if you haven't been in a burnout, you probably know one or two people that have been in a burnout. And probably you've heard them say that it was like a turning point for them, forcing them to change things that they should have maybe changed much earlier on, right? That they said that their boundaries improved, their priorities became clearer. These things are very important. The fact that they start living from their own expectations and not of others, and start listening to their system. And their life then becomes more healthy, more calm, and oftentimes more successful as well. But it only happens if you listen. Because if you try to push through and when you think you feel better, you just get going again the same way you did before, it's going to happen again, possibly. Or, you're going to kind of feel that mediocre way for a longer period of time. So instead of asking, how do I get rid of this as soon as possible? A better question to ask ourselves may be, what is this trying to tell me? Where am I pushing too hard? Where am I ignoring signals? Where am I living from pressure or other people's expectations instead of what I feel is aligned with who I am? And to consider your body not the enemy, but a source of wisdom. Your body is actually your most trusted advisor, you know? It's there to protect you, it's there to keep you safe, and it will always honestly tell you when something's off, even if you don't want to hear it. So, to wrap up, burnout is not proof that you're weak. And in many cases, it's proof that you've been strong for just way too long. So, strength is great. And strength without listening to what your needs are turn into exhaustion. So, the next time that you feel that your body is trying to send you a signal, whisper, speak, maybe even yell, don't try to silence it. Just get curious. Get curious to, hey, I feel this way. I would prefer to feel different. But what is it that is making me feel this? Because the symptom is oftentimes not the problem. The symptom is inviting you to a much more enjoyable and healthy life. So that is what I wanted to share with you today. And I hope it was helpful to you. If there's anything that you want to spar on or maybe ask, I'm very happy to get connected with you. And I'll make sure that in the description, you will find ways to do so. And in this intense, crazy world, I might say right now, take care of yourself, listen to your system. Your body is not there to fight you. Your body is there to help you and to move forward in a way that's sustainable to you. All right. Thanks again for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one.